So today we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan. Today's class number 72. And we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. The big topic is the same tale as ending dispute. Today's topic, rabble rousers. The Talmud teaches that one is permitted to speak Lashon Hara about Baal Machlokes, meaning the one who started all of this Machlokes, right? Men of strife, okay, men of strife, who are the forefront of the community feud. So about these people who create all of these issues in the community, so you are allowed to speak bad, okay? The purpose of speaking out against such individual is to encourage other members of the community to disassociate with themselves from them. Isolated instigators of the dispute can help restore tranquility to the community, meaning that everybody should abandon them. Okay. Sorry. Them? Yes.
So does that mean you can only speak Lashon Hara about him, this person, or we start this argument, so on and so forth, if it's actually going to get others to, get away from him, but if it's not going to get them to get away from him, are you still allowed to speak about him or no?
Eventually, it should encourage others to get away.
Or at least it's going to encourage him to stop, maybe, perhaps.
Maybe that not everybody so agree. Not everybody.
Just to give a practical example, let's say there's a boy in class and he's doing this and he's doing that and he's always making a show, right? You're allowed to speak about him or no?
I mean, but is he a leader or something? Like people do not follow him? No, that's a different story.
I understood.
Understand? So here, our the topic is to stop this strife in the community. When somebody's trying to, it's so easy. It's you would not believe how easy it is. It takes only one person who can break a community apart, and we have to stop him. All the people are different, but it does not mean that they have to kill each other or right. The undisputed Rav of the community could, for example, urge the constituents to refrain from conversing with certain individuals. Right? So it's not to give them an opportunity to develop a following to create strife. Yeah. However, disparagement of one party in the dispute by the other usually result in misguiding, which is further escalates the dispute. So if you don't know what to do, they thought that you're actually from another side, so creative an escalation. There is not at all what the sages had in mind when they permit to speaking against Baal HaMachlokes. So basically, it should not be out of your emotions, not because of the emotions, but consult with the proper authority, and then just create the strategy how to speak about this Baal Machlokes. Okay.
Rabbi, I was thinking, in such a case, what do you do about someone, or let's say there's a person, right? Rabbi Reuven, let's say he comes into a new community, everybody doesn't like he's giving Musar. So he's going to be seen as that guy starting up all these arguments, so on and so forth, and they're going to say they're allowed to speak Lashon Hara about him. So what does Rabbi Reuven do in this case to get them to stop speaking Lashon Hara?
I guess it's not about stopping him. So let him continue, let him dig his own grave. And other people, it's actually bad publicity. It's not always negative, just so you know. So other people say, oh, Rabbi Reuven, okay, let's go check him out. Let's see what else he says. And they log into his website. Oh, after all, he's not so bad. So don't be so judgmental about the bad publicity. All right. So very nice. So, we continue with the Siman 23, and we have very interesting topic, which is laws regarding reading from the Sefer Torah. Okay. So we're in the middle of the person who is called Ole. Ole is the person who is being called to the Sefer Torah to get an aliyah. Aliyah is because he's going up the bima, to the bima. Okay, so continue. Sif number 6. If somebody is following, I'm on page 252. Number 6. While Allah recite Baruch, the congregation respond with the Baruch Shem Chvat L'Olam Va'ed. HaShem Chavorach L'Olam Va'ed. The entire congregation must stand. However, while the Allah recite the blessing Asher Bochar Banu, and likewise during the Torah reading, and during the concluding blessing of the Allah, there is no obligation for a congregation to stand. Okay, so let's start here. So let's stop here and try to understand. So first of all, and see how many people actually follow this halacha. It's clear halacha from Shulchan. So a person being called to the Torah, he goes up to the bima and he says Baruch. So while he says Baruch, everybody must stand. You understand? And then when he can, after they answer, Baruch Chamarach L'Olam Va'ed, they can sit down during his this continuation of his blessings and during the reading of the Sefer Torah. Okay, so basically it's not obligatory to stand, but many people stand. Continue. Only those who are meticulous in observance of the mitzvahs are stringent upon themselves, and they stand. And do so is proper, meaning to stand during the whole reading of the Torah. However, during the interlude between the one person and another person being called to the Torah, there is no reason at all to be stringent. So what we're saying here, okay, during the Baruch stand for sure, everybody must stand. During the rest of the blessings, it's not obligatory, but if he stands, it's very commendable, right? And if he stands during the reading of the Torah, also very commendable. But it's not necessary to stand when one person is being called and another is receiving blessing. So if he wants to sit down, so it depends. In all of the shuls, they have different blessings, and some it's like, I don't know, 30 seconds, and another it could be 2 minutes blessing if they want to mention all of his relatives.
Rabbi, question. I heard that the most stringent time is when they're just taking it out of the Aron Kodesh. Is that true?
No, but those are two separate things. It's not they taking out the Aron Kodesh. It's when the Torah is in motion. We didn't get it, or we did. I don't know. So when Torah is traveling, they call it traveling. Then you must stand. But when it's a stationary, for example, the guy just stands with the Sefer Torah, you're not obligated to stand. You can sit down. But here we're talking about Baruch. Baruch has nothing to do with the Torah reading. The Torah is laying down on a bima or standing. It depends. In Sephardi custom, it's standing on the table. I mean, it's you're not obligated to stand at all.
Why don't we say that? Listen, the Torah came out. Okay, we should respect the Torah. We don't get to see it that often. Mondays, Thursdays, Saturday, right? So we should stand the whole time the Torah is in our presence. Why don't we say that, the Torah is so chashuv, we have to do that?
Because there is no obligation. Other people would argue. So I must listen to the Torah reading. I'm more attentive when I'm sitting down, not when I'm standing. And there are some like elderly people, I call it people with some disabilities, or whatever. They're not even elderly. It's hard for them to stand, so they'll let them sit down. But commendable for sure when you're standing, for sure. There is no doubt, right? Okay, but Baruch, as I said, it's separate issue. Like even when you say Baruch before Shema, everybody must stand. But here, many people relax. It's unacceptable.
Rabbi, what do I do if I'm in the middle of TIKKUN and they're doing Baruch over
Well, you answer.
I answer, even
absolutely. Baruch you answer. Except Shmona Esrei, you always answer.
Okay. And a practical question, and that is, I see people, let's say during Baruch Hu or something like that. Let's say they're sitting down, right? Then they have to get up for Baruch Hu. So, and you also see this when a rabbi walks in. They half stand up. They get like 3 inches out of their seat, and then bow their head or something like that, and then say Baruch Hu or whatever. Is that allowed or no?
I don't know. Okay.
Understood.
It's proper not to do it. All right. So continue. So okay. I don't want to comment because I know many people do that. So it's Shulchan Aruch said different. So we don't learn, as you said many times, we don't learn what people do. We learn from the books. And books say all of them in unison say like different, opposite. You must stand. Halacha number 7. If the reader himself is Oleh, so it's possible they give Aliyah to Baal Koreh, there is no problem, right? It is necessary that another person must stand near him. Okay. For just as the Torah was given through the intermediary, Moshe, our teacher, may peace be upon him. So must we conduct ourselves while reading it through the intermediary. So what does it mean? Let's say. So basically, the proper way when this Baal Koreh is reading Torah, you need the 2 people. One is on the left, one is on the right. So that's how you show that respect to the Torah. As we said yesterday, no, not yesterday, last time, whenever last time was it. So another person who just finished reading the Oleh before, he should stand on the right of the Torah until this person that was called after him finish his blessings, and they call another person, then only this person can leave, basically. So let's read the commentary and explain. The reader represents God, no more no less, right? This Baal Koreh, given the Torah, and a person standing alongside him represents Moshe. Interesting. When a person other than the reader is Oleh, that person represents Moshe. So basically, they're talking about here situation when there are no 2 people standing next to the Torah. So in this case, there are only 2, meaning this Baal Koreh and Oleh, meaning that the one who was called to the Torah. So when there is only one person, Baal Koreh is Oleh himself. They give him Aliyah. So somebody else have to stand to the Torah. But in our cases, as we explained, since there are 2 people on the left and the right, there is no problem. Continue. See how Mishnah Brura 141:16, who suggests that the common custom is for 3 people exactly to be standing in the Torah while it is being read. Okay, that's in all of the shuls, I think there is a custom. The Gabbai, who calls upon those who are to make the blessings, has an authority. Thus, he represents the giver of the Torah. Okay. The reader represents Moshe, God's intermediary, and Oleh, reciting the blessing, represents the Jews who received the Torah. Thus, when the reader is the Oleh, 2 people should stand alongside him. So, and as we said, we have 2 people, meaning the last from the previous Aliyah. Okay, we good? Continue. Any questions? Okay. Continue. Number 8. Once the reader has begun to read from the Sefer Torah, the entire congregation is forbidden to speak, even about the Torah topics. And this is so even during the interlude between one man is called up to the next man is called up. So that's where when the whole all the conversations start between the aliyahs. It's very annoying and very disgusting. Okay, so from the beginning, this commentaries. Once the reader has begun to read from the Sefer Torah, the entire congregation commentary. This includes a person who has already read the Torah reading. I see Shulchan Aruch, Mishnah. Okay, so for example, this person already had the mitzvah. So, for example, he went to the early minyan and he already heard the whole Sefer Torah reading from the beginning to the end. So he is also included in people that must be quiet. Okay, so one more time, the entire congregation is forbidden to speak. Commentary, Mishnah Berurah 146:4 rules that it is forbidden to converse from the time the Sefer Torah is opened, even before the reading has begun. Okay, so even at earlier time. So continue with Shulchan Aruch, even about Torah topics. Commentary. However, regarding the study of the Torah without conversation, in the interlude between the aliyahs and during the Torah reading itself, see Mishnah Berurah. So basically, I think he would say that it is allowed. So if he would just want to read by himself while they give blessing to one guy and next guy is coming to the bima, so I'm not sure what is it, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, so he can learn basically. So okay, so it's forbidden to speak even the Torah topics. Continue, and this is so even during the interlude between the one man is called up to the up, and the next man is called up. Okay, so 1 is 6 between aliyahs basically. So I mean, one is finished, they give him blessing, and they call another one. So even then, it is forbidden to speak. Furthermore, it is forbidden to leave the synagogue during the time they are reading from the Torah. So as we said before many times, I mean, not many times, but at least 3 times we discussed this thing. That it's actually, we said that when they read from the Torah and person leaves synagogue, I mean, he goes to the restroom. It's not like he's disgusted with the Torah, but it looks like he shows his contempt with the Torah, which is not good. So try and never leave in the middle of the Torah reading. If you must leave, so leave between aliyahs or before the Torah, before they start reading to the Torah. Commentary. Even if a minyan of 10 men will still remain in a synagogue, and he has already heard the Torah reading, leaving during the Torah reading is prohibited. See Mishnah Berurah 146:1. Okay, continue same halacha. However, during the interlude between one person and the next person, when the Sefer Torah is rolled closed, and we usually cover it also, right? He may leave, and he must attend to the great need. Okay, so he needs go to the bathroom, let's say. Commentary, he may exit between olim, provided that the last at least a minyan remain in a synagogue. So we spoke about it before when we were discussing the laws of the minyan. So if he leaves and there is no minyan, so basically he has no right to leave them like this. Even though, like at the end we said that even if he left, they can continue and finish reading even without this guy. Okay, so halacha number 9.
Rabbi, over here it says it's forbidden to leave the synagogue. Let's say I'm in like a side room of the synagogue. Does that also count as leaving?
Yeah. You leave from the Torah present. So the thing that it's like I don't know, the person does not like what he's here. That's it. So if somebody like okay, that's no.
Well, what if someone has to go use the bathroom? He's not allowed to listen to the Torah. What does he do?
No, he's allowed to listen to the Torah. I mean, just wait between the aliyahs.
Oh, so over here this doesn't count towards between the aliyahs.
No, between aliyahs. So between aliyahs, you can exit.
So just to be clear, you're not allowed to talk between aliyahs, but you're allowed to go use the bathroom.
No. Yes, correct. Sorry. Yes, correct. 100%. Okay. So continue. We good? Continue. Number 9. When there is a coin present in a synagogue, they must call him up for the Torah first. Commentary. There is a Gabaim, the officer of the congregation, who call up the Alim to the Torah. So basically, this guy, the way I understand, has to have a very good memory and know who is a coin, who is not a coin, or who is the Levi. So I mean, maybe in a small shul there is no problem with 20, 30 people, but in a bigger shul it's not so easy. So he must know where the kohanim sits and stuff like that. Okay, so when there is a coin, we call him for the first aliyah. If he is unlearned, but he's an understanding person, he has a precedence. He has a precedence even over the Torah scholar who is not a coin. Okay, so moreover, even if the coin wants to forgo his honor and allow someone else to be the first aliyah, his waiver is not effective, and he is still called up first. So basically, the coin, it's not his place to waive up his honor. He must go unless they ask him or he decided on his own. So basically, what he can do, he can just leave the synagogue before they start reading from the Torah. So they see the coin is not there. So it's like they pretend that they do not know. Maybe he left, he went home, stuff like that. So they call somebody else, and then he comes in, walks in, there is no problem. Already another person being called up. So they no longer can call the coin.
Okay, over here, when we say that he can't waive his coin, that means he can't waive his aliyah to anyone at all?
When he's in a synagogue, no.
Okay.
So basically, I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to say. Okay, no, it does not say here, but technically, right? So I think in Shulchan Aruch says if there is a coin, right, and he's ignoramus, does not know much, right, and you have a Torah scholar, even mamzer, right, the illegitimate person, right, but he's a great Torah scholar. We have to give aliyah him instead of the coin. That's a halach, but we try not to. For coin, it's like you're killing him. You understand? We try not to embarrass the coin. And even if coin said, "Look, there is Rav Kanievsky here. Let him go." Right? Why should I go? Let him go. So he has no right. So if he wants, he just leaves, as I said, before they start, and then they see there is no coin. Okay, Rav Kanievsky, you go. You understand? Otherwise, not. So we can comment it. Although the status of the Torah scholar is greater than that of the coin, always, right? The Torah scholar. The sages instituted that the coin be given precedence during the Torah reading to avoid discord over who is the greatest Torah scholar. So, I mean, for the first aliyah. So, I mean, a very interesting explanation, right? So there are two Torah scholars. So who is going to go first, right? So you guess what? Who goes first? Coin who goes first, right? So 1 second. To be expressed during the Torah reading, to what discover discord over who is a greater Torah scholar, as the Torah is read in the public settings. Okay, Mishnah Brura 135.9. Okay. For this reason, they did not allow the coin to forgo the honor of being first. So basically, right, so it's for a peace purpose. It's not because of the coin. Even the way I understood it is because of the honor of the coin also, but not to have a feud between these Torah scholars. However, a coin who is a scholar takes precedence over the unlearned coin. So that's so you don't have to alternate. There are two coins, coinim, and one of these Torah scholar. So you must call this Torah scholar basically. So I mean that's what it is. Our sages say in the Talmud, give wisdom to the wise. So the question is asked, why you give wisdom to the wise? Because wise people would know what to do with the wisdom, and fools would not know. So this coin, who is a Torah scholar, he knows what to do with the wisdom. So call him to the Torah, make him happy. But that ignoramus, coin ignoramus, what does he know? Right? Continue. And after the coin, they call a Levi to the Torah. If there is no Levi present, they call upon the coin who has already ascended. There is the first of that in a Levi's place. Okay. So basically, if there is a Levi, so after a coin they call a Levi. If there is no Levi, they can call only the same coin. So the same coin who is there, they call him for a second aliyah of the Levi. Let's see the commentary. Calling upon Israel, right, would imply either that the first aliyah was not really a coin, casting down on his lineage of the coin, or that the second aliyah is a Levi. Calling up another coin might also cast doubt on the lineage of the first aliyah by implying that he does not qualify for the honor that being extended to a coin. The best option is therefore to call upon the first aliyah. Again, see Shulchan 135.8, Mishnah Berurah 28. So let's explain this situation. But I mean, whatever 10 lines, a very short text, they explain it beautifully. Right, so we call this coin the first aliyah. So now we have to call Levi. There is no Levi. Simple case, there is no Levi. So the question is, why should we call this coin? I mean, let somebody else go up. They say there is a problem. Even the coinim, technically, they are from the tribe of Levi. You cannot call another coin instead of Levi. Why? Because they would suspect that it was a problem with the original coin. Right? Maybe he's not qualified to be a coin for whatever reason. We're going to discuss one day what will disqualify coin from being a coin, right? A person to be in to have status of a coin, and they try to fix the situation. They call a good coin, legitimate coin. So right away you cannot call another coin, and you cannot call Israel. So if you call Israel, that's also a problem, because people would think that this Israel is actually a Levi, right? That's also a problem. Okay, all right. That's why the best solution, the straightforward solution, is to leave that coin who got the first aliyah, let him stand, and they're going to read for him now. Second aliyah. Okay, so let me quickly repeat it so we have continuation one more time. And after the coin, they call a Levi to the Torah. If there is no Levi present, they call up to the coin who had already ascended. There is the first aliyah in a Levi's place, and there is a Gabbai proclaims that he is ascending in a place of the Levi. So they don't call him. So there are two coins. No, so this coin is instead of the Levi. Commentary: to protect his lineage as a coin from being questioned, the Gabbai announced that he is merely taking a place of a Levi. So there is no Levi, and this coin instead of the Levi. Not that the coin is a Levi, right? But he is taking place of the Levi. If there is no coin present in the synagogue, they call upon a Levi or Israel in his place. In such a situation, one should call upon the person who is greatest in the Torah knowledge. There is to be found there in the synagogue. See Magen Avraham. So let's see commentary of Magen Avraham, and we're going to explain. Magen Avraham that explains that the honor is given to the scholar most versed in the Torah rather than to the one who is oldest. So basically, after we discovered there is no coin, it's possible many places there is no coin. So you're not obligated to give aliyah to a Levi. There is no such obligation. Some ignoramuses think that's the best. The next best choice is a Levi. It's not. So they say clearly, whoever is a bigger scholar, you call it the bigger scholar. That's it. Straightforward. Be it Levi or Israel, doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. Question? Yeah, go ahead. What? You want to ask something? Okay. Okay. No problem.
No, Rabbi, sorry.
No problem. Let's continue. They should announce if there is they should announce if there is no coin present, a levy is taking place of a coin. Okay. Or Israel is taking place of a coin. So I mean that they have to say it's not like we changing the halach. No, there is no coin, and we call Levi instead of the coin, or we call Israel instead of the coin. So they have to clarify what they're doing. So it's actually aliyah of the coin, but we give it to somebody else. Commentary. To prevent anybody from being misled into thinking that the Levi or Israel is a coin. So we say there is no coin, and this person is being called instead. As he was first Oleh, the Gabbai announced that he is ascending in the place of a coin. Okay, which is straightforward. If they called Israel in a place of a coin, they should not call Levi after him. So that's a big one. That's a big one. Let's see the commentary, and we're going to explain. Although it wasn't announced that Israel is being called up instead of a coin, someone who did not hear the announcement might think that the first Oleh is a coin if Levi succeeded him. Mishnah Brura 135:23. If they called up a Levi in place of a coin, they should not call upon a second Levi, for this casts doubt upon the lineage of the first Levi or a second. Okay, so let's try to understand. Just 1 second. So if they call Israel, I mean in regular Jew, to the Torah instead of the coin, they can after him they can no longer call Levi, right? Why no longer can call a Levi? Because people might suspect that the first person was actually coin, right? And then after the coin they call Levi, so it's not allowed. Or after the Israel, you cannot call Levi. No, I'm sorry. Or if they call Levi as the first aliyah instead of the coin, so they cannot call a second Levi. What is the problem? That people might suspect there is problem with the first Levi or problem with the second Levi, meaning one of them is not Levi. That's the thing. Okay. The settlement in which all of the inhabitants are Kohanim or Leviim should make an inquiry of Rav about how to conduct themselves. So it's not so simple. I'm not sure what is the resolution here, but of course they must call 3 people. Actually, I learned. I don't remember that. And anyway, it does not happen too often. Okay. So next halacha number 10. If coin is in the middle of recite Kriyas Shema, or in the middle of the blessing of the Shema, and certainly if he is in the middle of praying Shmona Esrei, even if there is no other coin present, they should not call him to the Torah, and they are not required to wait for him to finish his prayers, as that would burden the congregation. Okay, I think it's a very interesting point. So we say what? That first of all, this Gabbai person has to pay very, very close attention what people are doing. So if somebody is still, he sees that somebody is, instead of holding the Chumash, right, during the Torah reading or before the Torah reading, he actually sits and holding Siddur, so you cannot call him, he's still praying, or he's standing. When somebody is standing Shmona Esrei, it's obvious. I mean, I've been called during my Shmona Esrei several times. I don't know what this Gabbai like smoking, I have no idea, right? Doesn't matter, but it's not proper to call, right? But if they call him, he must go. But let's see. Rather, they should call upon the Levi or Israel. Okay, let's say there is no coin. Coin is praying, or somebody informed Gabbai the coin is praying, so just continue without coin. However, they should not say there is no coin present. But I would say that there is a problem with Mr. Cohen also. So if Mr. Cohen knows that they're going to start the Torah reading very soon, just walk out of the room, right, and pray behind the door, right? Why should you put everybody like in this situation? Rather, they should say a Levi or Israel is taking place of a Cohen. So meaning like leave the Cohen alone, let him pray. And after the fact, though, if they did call upon him while he was praying, if he's in the middle of recited Shema or in the middle of the blessing, he should ascend. So, okay, so very, very important point. As we said before, he's in the middle of Shema, blessing on the Shema, you're not allowed to interrupt. Guess what? You're allowed to interrupt. You must interrupt in this case and go and why? Because if somebody refuses to go when he's being called to the Torah, so our sages say he's shortening his life. That's how bad it is. So disregard to the Torah, is shortening his life. And this is big difference between Ashkenazi custom and Sephardic custom, right? What is the difference? So in Ashkenazic shul, they call a guy by the name, right? Moshe ben Refuel, let's say, right? So Moshe ben Refuel must go, right? It's only one Moshe ben Refuel, but in Sephardic custom, they say only the name, the Aliyah, Shlishi. So of course the guy knows who is Shlishi. Let's say this Gabbai is looking at him. You understand? So if the guy just ignores it, or he's praying in Siddur, so Gabbai see there is no Shlishi, this guy is busy, so he's going to call somebody else. So basically when there is no name, so congregation do not know who was called. But if this guy Moshe ben Refuel, he just refuses because he thinks that he's in the middle of Shemona Esrei, he's not allowed to interrupt, that's the problem. You understand? So that's a difference, but I think it's actually better in this case in case of Sephardic shul not to call him by name in case of he's in the middle.
Rabbi, but what's it called? Over here it just says Shema, but Shemona Esrei I thought was much more stringent. You can't move at all.
Yeah. So let's we didn't get to Shemona Esrei. Let's continue. The Mishnah Brura, so I can which states that if they call upon Israel, who was in the middle of Kriya Shema or the blessing, he too should ascend. Okay, so that doesn't matter. It's not only Kohen; it's everybody should ascend. He should recite the blessings, right? He must, however, avoid interrupting first verse, the Shema, and the blessing of Baruch Shem, as that it follows. See Mishnah Brura. So basically, if he must say Shema, so he's in the beginning of the Shema, so he should say Shema Israel, and then Baruch Shem Kivat Mo Solo Levaet, and then he can basically he's allowed to interrupt, to say Borku, to say blessing on the Torah. You understand? But within these two verses, he's not allowed to interrupt. Okay. Okay, so one more time. He should recite the blessings, right? But he should not read along with the reader. Rather, he should just listen. So why is it statement? We actually said last time. So it's proper if you can read along from the Torah, you follow the Chazan, not Chazan, this Balkore, and you read. But if we say try to do it as quietly, not to confuse that guy. So if you can, if you cannot, so just listen to what he's saying. But in this case, when somebody is in the middle of the Shemona Esrei, so if the Shema or blessing of the Shema, so they say, needless to say, just keep quiet, don't do like extra interruption, and listen what the Balkare is saying. Continue. However, if it is possible for him, then he should complete the topic of the Shema or its blessing that he is in the middle of, to the point that the topic is concluded. before he ascends. So basically, while he's walking to the bima, right, and so he has a few seconds, I guess, while they bless the guy that was before him. So the procedure usually is, at least in most of the show, maybe some shows is different, but if I remember correctly, so first they're going to call, so they finish with reading of the Torah, right? So this guy said the blessing after the reading. The Gabbai calls new person, right? So new person starts coming, and he started giving the blessing of to the Oleh who just finished reading from the Torah. So this guy who was just called, he has, I don't know, like 1 minute. So in 1 minute you can finish the whole paragraph. So the way I understand. So just the way I see, just take with you a siddur and continue praying while you're walking. That's it. So you can finish. Continue. If he can minimize the interruption to his prayer by completing the section of at least a topic without delay to the congregation, he should do so. Meaning while he was walking, I mean, he's not going to walk any faster. Just finish, if it's possible to finish paragraph. Finish paragraph. It's not, finish at least an idea. Do not stop in the middle of the sentence. So that's why I said take with you siddur. There are always like delays, little delays. They want to ask this, they want to ask that. The Gabbai is busy. What else? So you have another like 30 seconds to finish whatever you need to finish. Continue. However, if he's in the middle of the Shemona Esther, even they call him, he should not ascend. Clearly, should not ascend. Let's see. Similarly, if he is at a point between the blessing of redemption, Gal Israel, and the beginning of Shemona Esther prayer, he should not ascend. However, during the prayer Elokai Netzor, so Elokai Netzor, as we said, it's at the end, right? My God guard, etc. He should ascend. So let's see the commentary. This is the final paragraph of the Shemona Esrei, and is not actual part of the Midah. One must therefore interrupt and ascend to the Torah. Okay. However, the Aleh should recite the pasuk, right? The Hiratzon before ascending, meaning the first line after the conclusion of the Shemona, of the last blessing of the Shemona Esrei. So okay, so when Kitzur is very clear. So when you're in the middle of Shemona Esrei, you do not go up to the Torah. Very interesting. Okay, continue. If he's saying Psuki de Zimra, if no other coin is present, they may call upon him, even in the first instance. Okay, but he should not read along with the reader. So during the Psuki de Zimra, so I mean the Psuki de Zimra, as we know, it's less lenient, more lenient than Shema. So they can call him, right? If he's saying the Psuki de Zimra, if there is no other point present, they may call upon him, even in the first instance. 42. Here too, he should attempt to complete section of prayer if he can do so without delaying the congregation. So basically here also, I mean, try to finish the paragraph. If you cannot, just do until the end of the thought, or until the period, at least, until the end of the sentence. It was 42. But he should not read with a reader. Again, so I mean, since it is interruption, in some ways, so do not read with a reader. However, if another coin is present, one should preferably not call upon him. So if we see that the first coin came, second coin came late, so let him down. Don't call. If you have another coin. Commentary. However, if they did call upon him, he should ascend. That's clear. This law applies to Levi as well. commentary. There is if only Levi in a synagogue reciting Psuk in the Zimra, they should call upon him. If two Levis, of course, you call upon another Levi. Go ahead, question.
Yeah, all these laws we're talking about right now, they only apply to a Kohen or maybe a Levi?
No, all the people.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I'm not sure why. Okay, let's see. I think it's upon all of the people, but we'll see. Maybe there are some differences. Number 11. If they call upon Kohen or a Levi, and they are not present in the synagogue, they should not call upon another Kohen or Levi by using his name. Right? So that the people should not say about the first Kohen that the lineage is tainted. Okay, so they call him, maybe he just stepped out to the restroom. I don't know. All right, so commentary. By announcing the replacement of a Kohen or a Levi, one draws attention to the fact that the one called upon the first will not be the Aleh. This could imply that he is unfit to be called upon for an honor that is awarded based on a lineage casting doubt of his ancestry. Shulchan 135:11. So okay. So they call this Kohen, and he stepped out to the restroom, and there is another Kohen. So let other Kohen just come up without calling his name. So people, I don't think that people pay so much attention. They call somebody by name. Another person came up and he does a blessing, and that's it. Continue. Rather, they should tell the other Kohen or Levi, you are sent. Okay, so usually maybe point finger or like motion with the hands, you come, right? Without calling him by name. And he should ascend, meaning the second guy. By simply calling up the second Kohen without announcing his name, to avoid drawing attention to the fact that the Kohen called upon first was not to be aware. So as we said, I mean, not to embarrass the first Kohen and okay. However, one may call up by name son of a Kohen who was called up originally. Interesting. So son of the Kohen you can call. For doing so, no taint. For doing so, not taint the father's lineage. Very interesting. I mean, it's very very interesting. It's logically, it's pure logic. So we said before, if Kohen, we call a Kohen, and he stepped out, and now he's not there, so we cannot call another Kohen because people might think there is a problem with lineage of that Kohen, of the first one. So, but when we call his son of the original Kohen, there is no problem. So if father has no problem, if son has no problem, so of course the father has no problem because the Kohanim are like the lineage goes by the father's side. Okay. Continue. For if the father's lineage was tainted, the son lineage would also be tainted, right? Which is like pure logic. Similarly, if the Kohen or a Levi is unable to ascend because they in the middle of Shemona Esther prayer, as I said before, the Gabbai may call upon another Kohen or Levi by name. So in this case, by name. If everyone can see, that the reason he is not ascending to the Torah is only because he is not permitted to do so. Right? So, right. So he's not, meaning he's in the middle of Shemona Esther. If they call upon Israel and he was not present, they may call upon another Israel even by name. So meaning that we don't suspect. I mean, where do you go from Israel? I mean, that's it. It's royal, right? That's what you do. For regard to Israel, there is no possibility of tainted lineage. Actually, maybe tainted lineage. I just guessed that he's not a Jew, right? that will render him unfit to receive aliyah. And they say, okay, there is no tainted lineage, so he just simply stepped out, and that's all. Similarly, if they called upon the Kohen or a Levi, so but I think that's my personal understanding. Why this guy just make sure that he sees the guy and then call him? Why just call without looking around? Maybe he stepped out. Maybe he has I don't know, stomach ache. I don't know. Similarly, if they called upon Kohen or a Levi for the final aliyah or a maftir on Shabbos or festival, and one of the other is not present, they may call upon another Kohen or Levi by name. Okay, so let's try to understand. So there are a few others. So we say once the aliyah of Kohen is over, right? You cannot call a Kohen during upon different aliyahs until the very end. So when there is like Achron, like on Hanukkah, we have like three Sefer Torahs on this Hanukkah. So in a minute for us, like when it's you see clearly the different aliyahs, so you can call up a Kohen or Levi. But for a maftir stuff like that. So let's see. So final aliyah Achron, right? So let's see, 48. After a Kohen is called up for the first aliyah and a Levi for a second, only Israelim may be called upon the remaining aliyahs. This holds true for all of the required aliyahs of the day. Only Israel may be called upon, right? As we said, only Israelim. On the Shabbos, however, although one is required to call upon minimum of 7 olim, one may add to the number. If aliyahs were added, one may give it the last aliyah, called Achron, to the Kohen or Levi. Similarly, they may be called up to the maftir. Okay. So let's try to understand. So during the Mondays and Thursdays, you have only 3 aliyahs. But in case of great need, very great need, for example, there is circumcision, right? And you want to honor somebody like very special, right? During the Torah reading, so you want to add another aliyah, even though a state don't do it, but they did it anyway, so there is no problem. They can add aliyah. But on Shabbos, it's more lenient. You have many, like some kind of celebration. You have many guests from this side, from that side, and so you can add aliyahs. How many? I don't know, 100 aliyahs you can add. If you have nothing else to do, that's what you should do. But and they say for a last aliyah before the maftir, you can call Kohen or Levi. So everybody knows that it has nothing to do with the 7 aliyahs. They have nothing to do with like additional. It's the very last. Okay. And in this case, as they say, they may call upon another Kohen or Levi by name. So there is no disrespect, no sign that he's not a Kohen or Levi. It's a totally separate reading. 149. Since these honors are not reserved specifically for a Kohen or a Levi, right? This is like last aliyah and the maftir. The lineage will not be questioned if another Kohen or Levi takes their place. See Mishnah Berurah 135:41. Of course, Israel may be called as well in his case. Okay. So let's see the time. Okay. That's very long. All right. So we can go to questions. Go ahead. Any questions? So I don't see the screen. I don't see everybody. So if somebody have questions,
I have one question.
Please go ahead. Yes.
First, what is an aliyah? Because I heard an aliyah about traveling to Israel. Has something to do?
Yes, aliyah is meaning go up. So when a person goes to Israel, he goes up to the collins. You understand? So it's one of the explanation. Another explanation, if you read the Chumash, so it says always from Egypt they went up to Israel. So it says that Israel is compared to all of the surrounding places, it's like higher land. So I mean, you have to go down. That doesn't matter from which side you're coming to, for example, to Yerushalayim. You have to go down and then you have to go up. So you always go up when you go to Yerushalayim. And spiritually, of course, yeah. So Oleh is the one goes up because we learn we read Torah from the bima. Bima, it's like in the middle, like in the middle of the shul. It's like a raised platform. It depends upon the shul. Sometimes you have 2 steps, 3 steps, 1 step, but you for sure you go up. You understand? So that's why it's the same word.
Yeah, I heard that people buy aliyah. So why they buy? And I heard that it costs very much money.
It depends what you buy. So basically there is a two customs. So Sephardi custom is to sell aliyahs. So whoever wants to get called to the Torah. So let's say that I don't know, 60 people, right, on Shabbos, right? And everybody, I want to be called to the Torah, and the guy next to me, and the guy next to him wants to be called to the Torah. So they start the auction. So they say opening bid is I don't know, $54, and people bid. Somebody wants to pay $200 to be called to the Torah, right? So, and plus it's good. This is money. It goes to tzedakah, goes to upkeeping of the shul. So it's very good. So Ashkenazi custom not to sell aliyah during the year, except on high holidays.
So Sephardim only sell every day aliyahs.
I'm not sure about Monday and Thursday, maybe also, but for Shabbos for sure, yes.
And Ashkenazim only on high holidays.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
But in some Ashkenazim shul they don't sell. For example, in the shul when I go now, they don't sell. So when I first came, I said, "What do you mean? I want to buy. I want to pay. Like, why should we stop?" But it has its own pluses. Not to sell has a big pluses that I'm not sure what Sephardim do about it. I have no idea, and I'm going to explain what. So there is a Michal Shabbos come, right? Somebody that desecrates Shabbos, and he wants to get an aliyah. So basically, if he has, let's say, everybody is ready to pay, I don't know, $50, and this guy has 1,000. So guess what? He's going to get called because who pays goes. But in Ashkenazic shul, they no, only Gabbai decide. Rabbi Gabbai decide. So if you're not Shomer Shabbos, let's say in a kosher shul, then I'm going to call you ever. You understand? After that, when they give you blessing, of course, Ashkenazim is not stupid people, right? When they give you blessing, they ask you how much you wanted to donate to the shul, and they're going to announce to everybody. So just because they got an aliyah does not mean it's always free. They ask you for money. Don't worry. But at least they pick who to call. But in this auction of the Sephardim, it's not so easy. So I mean, I'm not sure what they do. Not to give somebody not proper person how not to give it. Okay.
Rabbi. So what's it called? In Germany and everywhere, there was a lot of assimilation. Agree, right? So my question is like this, and still, there are a lot of non-from Jews who marry Jewish, so on and so forth, right? And at one point, they had to stop being religious and assimilate and marry a Jew who's also not religious. So I would assume there are probably so many mamzerim. Why don't we assume a lot of them are mamzerim? The people of these Baal Tshuva today.
Okay. So all right, that's amazing question. I'm trying to be as short as possible, but it's not easy topic. So the David is asking, so how if two secular people got married, right, and then they got divorced, so and they did not get divorced according to the Jewish custom, right? The Jewish law is to get a get, special document, right, that is given to a wife, right, to this lady so she can remarry. So basically, if she did not get this get, she's still 100% married woman, and you cannot sever this bond unless between husband and wife, unless she's get the get. Okay, that's what he's asking. So basically, if she's going to get remarried to somebody, another Jew, there is no problem. So it's like she's a married woman, then and she lives with another person who is forbidden to her. So when a Jewess has relations and has children with a person that is forbidden to her, so the product of this union is a mamzerim. So mamzer is a person who cannot marry anybody of Jewish descent, not allowed. So he or she can marry only another mamzer, right? Or they can marry convert, one of the two. But so basically, I would say, I don't know, 98% of the Jewish potential matches out. All right, so that's the issue that David is asking. So the answer is very simple. The answer is very simple. There is no wedding to begin with. So in order to have wedding, you have to have a kosher chuppah, you have to have kosher rabbi, and 2 kosher witnesses. Kosher witnesses meaning 2 of them shomer Shabbos. So if there is not 2 shomer Shabbos witnesses, meaning there is no wedding to begin with. So if there is no wedding to begin with, there is no get. There is no need for a get. So meaning they just people who live together, right? Men and women who live together, even though they were prohibited from living together. So these children that they have, right? Children, they're not mamzerim, even though they're prohibited from living together since they're not married, right? But they these children are considered to be children out of marriage. And if they divorce, she married somebody else, it's like same. So they're not mamzerim. So mamzerim only if they have a kosher chuppah with witnesses, with everything was correct 100%. Then he said, "That's it. We out. We have to separate. I don't want to be religious. This religion thing does not work for me." As the one clown in the shul where I go, he said, "Let's do a little religion now." I want to smack him. Let's do a little religion now. The guy who speaks a lot, basically, the most. And so basically, what we're trying to say. So and this guy does not want to give her gets. That's it. And she's also a stubborn lady, and she wants to marry, right, without get. So these children, and so it was kosher chuppah. Now she's going to remarry. These children are mamzerim. So that's the case. I don't know if you know this, the case of this thing that happened in Arizona. I don't know if you heard about it. This Aminov guy, there is a Bukharian rabbi who got involved with these missionaries, so father and son, Christians, Catholics, right, or Lutheran, whatever they are. They pretend to be Jewish, they're not. So they missionary 100% for Yoshke, and they infiltrated. They kicked them out from different communities. They came to this Aminov guy in Arizona, and they become shochet. They started doing shkita. They started writing Sefer Torah. They started giving classes. They started performing giyurim, and converting people. They did gets. Crazy history. So basically, all of these gets that they did, since these people were not Jewish, they could not be witnesses. So these gets are null and void. So these women who got these gets from these people, Christians, basically they're still married to their previous husband. If they have new children with a new husband, these children are mamzerim 100%. So in this case, everybody know. In that community, everybody know who is a mamzer. It's very, very unfortunate situation.
So my question was a little bit different, and that was because let's say communism came, right? Communism came, so we have a religious couple, and both of them decide to become not frum anymore, right? Okay, but they don't get a get, obviously, because communism, they don't care about get, just government divorce, okay? So they're still married, but they but they want to break apart, and they still want to marry Jewish, right? They don't want religious, but they still want to marry Jewish. So this one finds someone, and this one finds someone, right? They're both married, and even though they're not religious, their kids become mamzerim now. So I'm saying,
no, it's not. No, I'll say. So, I mean, you introducing new ideas in original question. So let's go step by step. So first of all, as we said, you said that they were religious. We must investigate 100% if they had two kosher witnesses. Maybe not. Maybe one of them was not kosher. So if there is, let's say, if they let's say like the worst case scenario, two witnesses were kosher. I'm going to we're playing along, right? Let's say. So the problem only with her. The problem is not with him. He does not need the get to remarry. The get is for a woman for him. So men can, according to the Torah law, he can have more than one wife. So his children are never mamzer. Only her children are mamzer. Yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying is, but before communism, all this, they were pretty frum. So I'm sure they had two witnesses. So I'm saying all the women who became
that's okay. So in all of these cases now in Israel, like when all of these people start coming to Israel, so they trying to see if there were two from religious observance Shomer Shabbos witnesses. So that's the way out. If they found that someone was just I don't know, was not from, like if there is proof, they bring witnesses that person was a clown, pretender. He was working on Shabbos. That's the biggest blessing, for this couple. So meaning there was no wedding to begin with. That's the thing. That's the way out. To prove that one of them was not Shomer Shabbos. It's very, very unfortunate, but that's the only solution we have.
That's cool. And another question. Let's say a rabbi says something that potentially shows that he's an epicurus, right? You're not 100% sure, but potentially.
Yes.
Am I allowed for the time being to count him inside a minion or no? Or should I be suspicious, not go inside of this minion?
It's better to be suspicious, yes. But test him. You have to test him and see proof that he's epicurus or not.
Understood.
So if you it's always try to avoid all the questionable things. Like for example, when people would not drink the water from the tap water from India, let's say, because you're going to die in 3.5 hours. You understand? So with water, everybody careful. But with epicurus and saying all the blessing in vain, people somehow they're not careful. They're lenient. You understand? So that's a big problem. Yes. Okay. Any other questions from anybody? It's like I don't see the whole screen. Anybody?
I have about this assimilation topic. I have a few questions.
Okay.
Is a woman allowed to intermarry? Because I read somewhere that Rabbanut in Israel does not allow for both man and woman to marry, intermarry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not allowed. Okay, so if it's question, yeah, in Israel they're not allowed to intermarry. So what they do is the smart Israeli, but Israel accept the certificates from different countries. So if you came from any country and you show in your passport and your marriage certificate from whatever country, they honor it. So what these Israelis do, they go to Greece, to wherever, Kippur, or like all these islands around. They get married there. Everybody knows that. Pay little fees and go back, and they're a couple basically married. Jews and non-Jews, unfortunately.
So we are talking about a woman who goes to an island near, for example, Greece, and they marry a non-Jew, and that is allowed.
No, it's not allowed, but it's not allowed. But that's what they do. I'm telling you what they do technically to go around, because they
Oh,
cannot
so you can.
marry in Israel, so that's what they do. They go to abroad and come back like, I don't know, it's next day and they're married. That's it. So Israel must honor this marriage, basically.
And another question is in times of the Sanhedrin, intimacy before marriage was punishable by a forced marriage, or it was liable to death penalty?
I didn't get your question. Why would, I mean, okay, so say ask your question again, because there is some details. Okay, say it again.
We are in the times of Sanhedrin, we suppose, and there is intimacy between two Jews before marriage. And
Okay.
what would be the punishment, or it would be simple forced marriage for them?
No. So I think it's actually one of the 613 commandments, if I remember correctly. So they would make him marry her or pay some kind of money, some kind of fee, right, to the father. If, let's say the father does not like this guy, so he has to pay some kind of compensation, I think, or he can marry.
But in short, they are not going to be
Punished?
Yes.
No. If there was no forced act, no, there is no
Yes,
punishment.
they are. In this hypothetical case, they both are Jew, and they are consenting each other to marry, but they decided that they cannot hold, and they have intimacy before the marriage.
So let me explain how it works. So the chuppah, the Jewish wedding is I think we did discuss, but I just repeat for people who did not hear this. So in the older days before the Torah was given, so the marriage was consummated with a gift, right? So some monetary gift, some document, right, with witnesses, or with relations, right? So one of the three, right? When we receive the Torah, so sages say no, all of the three combined must be. So, and even today when we have witnesses, we have a gift. So he gives you a ring. They have a chuppah. They sign the ksuba, right? So all of this that document, two kosher witnesses. They still must have relations, right? So, and sometimes the woman is nida. She cannot have relations right away, so they're not completely married. So maybe he has to wait, even though they had a chuppah, but they're not officially 100% married until, let's say, 10 days later. You understand? So because they didn't have intimacy. But in this case, whatever you say, they already had intimacy. So the most, not the most. So let's say the most important part is done. So now we have to go back and just do the other two, like this gift of the monetary gift somehow, ring or some others, and the document. You understand? So it's like partial marriage. So their relations. So there is we don't punish them, but we want them to finish the actual act of marriage. That's the rationale.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו עוד לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תאמינו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.